Today's the day, my friends, that I teach you how to make my favorite food, no pasta lasagna. Now, I've already shared with you my recipe on low-carb lasagna that has real homemade low-carb noodles and gives you the taste and the texture of regular lasagna. And that recipe is great and wonderful, but sometimes you just don't have the time to make all your noodles from scratch and then boil your sauce from scratch and then put all the layers of the lasagna together. As great as the result might be, sometimes you just don't have the time to do that. So today's recipe is quick and easy, no pasta to have to make from scratch, and it is just as tasty as the real thing. So, if you want a printable version of this, you can check out my website at janetsdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You'll find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you slide that mouse down underneath the screen, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out a new video. And while you do that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees. In a large skillet, combine a half pound of ground beef or ground turkey or ground meat substitute of your choice. Season the meat with your desired seasonings. I usually just use some salt and pepper and some Italian seasonings like garlic powder, onion powder, dry basil, dry oregano, dry thyme. Just whatever flavor you want your meat. Season it all up. Then chop the ground meat into small pieces. Make sure the pieces are small. You don't want big chunks of meat in your lasagna. So nice and small. Then cook the meat until it's no longer pink. Make sure you keep an eye on it and stir it occasionally. Doesn't need to be stirred a lot, but you don't want it burning on one side and pink on the other, so make sure you do stir it occasionally. Once the meat's all cooked, then drain the fat off and return the meat back to the skillet. Then add 2 15-ounce cans of tomato sauce. If you want just light sauce, you can use only 1 can if you just want a real light sauce, but I like mine to have a decent amount of sauce to be able to cover everything, so 2 cans works perfect for me. Add 6 ounces of tomato paste, 1 teaspoon onion powder, a half teaspoon dry oregano, a half teaspoon dry basil, 1/8 teaspoon dry thyme, a little bit of salt and pepper to your taste, and a half teaspoon of garlic powder. Stir this all together until it's fully combined and the tomato paste is smooth. Make sure that the tomato paste gets mixed in really well because it has a tendency to chunk up around the meat. So make sure it gets mixed in really well and the sauce is nice and smooth. Once your sauce is nice and smooth, then bring the sauce to a low boil over medium heat. Then reduce the heat to low and let the sauce simmer while you're preparing the rest of the ingredients. First off, we're going to make the filling for the lasagna. So in a medium mixing bowl, combine 1 large egg, 1½ cups of ricotta or cottage cheese, depending on which one you prefer, 1/4 cup freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Make sure this is freshly grated. You do not want the canned. That is not cheese. That is, I have no idea what it is. But so buy the block, freshly grated off the block. Then add a little bit of salt and pepper to your taste. Stir it all together until it's fully combined. Then set it aside and we'll use this in a bit. Next, we need to prepare 1 large zucchini or 2 medium zucchinis, depending on what size you can find in your store. These are going to be your noodles for your lasagna. Slice the tops and the bottoms off of your zucchini. Then use a vegetable peeler and thinly slice your zucchini lengthwise. You want nice long strips. Throw away any pieces that are just only skin. You just want the meat of the zucchini. Once you have your zucchini noodles all sliced nice and thin, set those aside for just a second. Then lightly spread about 2/3 cup of your meat sauce across the bottom of an 8 by 8 inch baking dish. Then top the sauce with enough zucchini to fully cover the bottom of the baking dish. Now you're going to want to slightly overlap the edges of your zucchini slices. This is just to be able to make a nice sturdy bottom for the lasagna. That way when you cut your pieces out, they don't fall completely apart on you because there's gaps in between the zucchini slices. So just slightly overlap the edges, that way there's no gaps. Then top the zucchini slices with 1/3 of the meat sauce. Then top the meat sauce with 1/2 of the ricotta or cottage cheese mixture. And sprinkle about 3/4 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese over the top of the ricotta cheese mixture. Then you're going to repeat this with another layer of zucchini slices. Again, make sure you slightly overlap the edges. And another 1/3 of the meat sauce, the remaining ricotta or cottage cheese mixture, and another 3/4 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. Then one more time, you're going to put another layer. Now if you only want 2 layers, you can just stop at the 2 layers. It depends on how thick you want your lasagna. We usually like a 3-tier lasagna, so if you want a 3-tier lasagna, repeat the layers again with another layer of zucchini, the remaining meat sauce, and enough mozzarella cheese to cover the entire top of the meat sauce. I usually use about 1 to 1.5 cups. I like a good amount of cheese. Not everybody likes that much cheese, so you just judge it to your desired amount. You're just wanting enough to be able to cover the top of the meat sauce. Once your lasagna is all nice and layered, then bake it in the oven at 375 degrees for about 30 minutes. Once it's baked, remove it from the oven and let it rest in the baking dish for about 10 to 15 minutes before serving. This just allows it to continue cooking for those first few minutes that it comes out of the oven, then allows it to cool down enough so you don't burn yourself, and it also allows all the flavors to lock in really nice and tight. Once it has set, cut your desired piece. I usually cut it into about 6 to 9 serving slices depending on who's eating it and how big they like their pieces. So you just cut it into your desired slice, place it on your plate. I like to make this with my homemade garlic bread, and I'll put a link in the description to my website that has the recipe for it. I don't have it on video yet, but eventually I'll get it out there. But you can see the written recipe to it on my website, so I'll put a link in the description for that. If I don't have time to make my homemade garlic bread, I like to eat this with my 30-second garlic bread, which I'll put a link in the description for that also. For the garlic butter, this is so quick, so easy, and tastes so good. In a small bowl, put 4 tablespoons of softened butter, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of seasoned salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of seasoned pepper, and 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. This just really helps bring out the flavor, so if you don't want the lemon juice in it, that's up to you, but the lemon juice really brings out the flavor of the garlic in this, so I wouldn't skip it if I were you. Use a fork and stir it all together until it's fully combined and easy to spread. Then slice off a piece of your favorite low-carb bread, which I've got some good recipes for that I'll put in the description for you. Top it with some of this yummy garlic butter, and poof, you have instant garlic bread. This is great when you're wanting garlic bread, but you're not wanting to take all the time it takes to make garlic bread from scratch. This garlic butter is perfect for that. And there you have it. Quick and easy, gluten-free, keto-friendly, instant garlic bread. And there you have it. No pasta keto lasagna. Eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, hit that thumbs up like button, hit that subscribe button. You can leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.